up there, Nifa Nifa, all the songs. If you're an old school person, you know the songs. Listen, talking of old school, we're going to the new school because we have a fresh crop of guest presenters who are going to be doing this show with me. I'm going to throw it over to the lady in red, wearing the glasses and the dazzling smile, and she's going to just introduce the segment and let us know who is around the desk. So, over to you, lady in red. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you, Kafi. My name is Akosia Hansen, culture curator, also the host of the best evening radio show, the Y Lounge on YFM. Today I'm going to be your host, and I'm not alone today. I'm so excited about the list of people we have here. Let me start on my left. Let's start with Obi Amponsa. Hi, comedian.
Yeah.
And just everything.
Yeah, optometrist and
optometrist.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay,
yeah, I could take off your eyes too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really?
apart from making you laugh. So.
Okay. How long have you been doing this?
I completed uni in 2014,
okay.
I've been an optometrist for like 9 years.
9 years.
You know,
that's great. That's great. I'll come to you.
You should. I've done a lot of jobs for. I actually prescribe this for myself. So if it's good, if it's looking good, you can get some from me.
Can you see at least?
Oh yeah, at least
All
I
right.
can.
Happy Founders Day.
Happy Founders Day to you too.
It's
good to see you. I'm such a fan.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I posted you on your birthday.
I saw it. I did.
There you understand now.
Thank you very much. And Michi.
How you doing? You're looking smashed.
Oh, Charlie, thank you so much. Like, I'm fangirling today. Like, when I saw Michi, I told her that, Charlie, I have to take a picture.
Well, that was bold because I was fan on the low in a Kokonsa way.
Oh, thank you. How are
for being
you?
sweet.
How's
I'm
today?
Well, today has been good.
Yes,
a few blunders here and there, but I'm enjoying it so far.
Yes. So today we're going to be discussing the headlines with you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Don't get me in trouble though.
I'll try not to. And last but not least, we've got Lexi, the comic here, also comedian. How you doing?
I'm fine. Okay. And I'm also a color psychologist.
You're a color psychologist?
Yes. In quotes, visual arts student.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. How long have you been doing this, please?
Since I completed tertiary 2015.
Okay. And
you're amazed at the time I gave to visual art.
Yeah.
Me too, I'm surprised.
We're all surprised.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for doing it.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here with you because I've long dreamed for this moment. But yes, here we are now.
Here we are, yeah.
And with Michi.
Exactly.
I'm feeling itchy.
You're feeling itchy. Yes, so today we're going to be talking about the headlines. But before we do that, as you all know, it's Founders Day today, and our president delivered an address yesterday. So we're going to be checking that out right now.
Fellow Ghanaians, good evening. Tomorrow, 4 years ago, on 4th August 2019, our nation commemorated the maiden edition of Founders Day, a day set aside to recognize the contributions made by successive generations of Ghanaians across many decades to the liberation of our nation from the shackles of colonialism and imperialism, and the founding of the new nation state of Ghana. 4 years on, it is good to see that the needless controversy, spurred on by largely outdated political considerations, that initially embroiled the celebration of this day, is being gradually set aside, as more and more Ghanaians now come to appreciate the collective effort made by many Ghanaians to the process of gaining our independence. 4th August, in the life and history of our nation, is one of utmost importance. It is indeed a sacred day. We must remember the sacrifices made some 126 years ago when a group of our forebears formed the Aborigines Rights Protection Society in Cape Coast on 4th August 1897 to resist the application and implementation of the 1897 Crown Lands Bill, which sought to sequestrate and expropriate our lands to the benefit of the British Crown, as was done during the same era to the lands of our fellow Africans in Eastern and Southern Africa. The Society mobilized the chiefs and people and public opinion in the then Gold Coast to agitate against this pernicious legislation and eventually forced the colonial power to withdraw the bill. The ownership of our lands was never an issue again during the rest of the colonial period. We should not then forget that we continue to possess our lands freely, unlike the situation in Eastern and Southern Africa, because of the bravery and foresight of the members of the Aborigines Rights Protection Society. And we must continually pay homage to these patriots. Fellow Ghanaians, the second of the two significant events in the struggle, after the agitations of the 1920s, 1930s, and early 1940s, then occurred on 4th August 1947, exactly 50 years later to the day of the formation of the Aborigines Rights Protection Society, when a group of nationalists, including, quote, paramount chiefs, clergymen, lawyers, entrepreneurs, teachers, traders, and men and women from all walks of life in the Gold Coast, unquote, according to an eyewitness, gathered in Salt Pond for the launch of the United Gold Coast Convention, the UGCC, the first political party in our country. The UGCC was the first political party to make a formal demand for independence. Indeed, the first time any such demand was made in colonial Africa, a demand made 11 days before the Declaration of India's independence on 15th August 1947. In the words of the chronicler, L.H. Ofosu-Appiah, 4th August 1947, quote, marked the beginning of a new era in the Gold Coast, unquote. It is the date which shaped and determined the course of our collective history, setting the stage for an organized front for Ghana's independence struggle. History has captured the seminal events that unlocked the door to freedom. The triggering of mass resistance by Nikwap Naboni, Boycotting, through the boycott of goods of European traders, the riots that consumed the country, reflecting the nation's rage at the senseless shootings and killings by the British colonial police at Christiansborg Crossroads on 28 February 1948, of 3 unarmed ex-servicemen, Sergeant Ajete, Corporal Atipo, and Private Odate Lamte, part of a group of unarmed ex-servicemen who were marching peacefully to present a petition of their grievances to the colonial governor at Christiansborg Castle. The subsequent arrest of the UGCC leaders, who have gone down in history as the legendary Big Six, J.B. Dankwa, Emmanuel Obechebi Lamte, Edward Akufo-Addo, Ebenezer Akwaje, William Ofori-Atta, Kwame Nkrumah, by the colonial authorities who held them responsible for the disturbances. The establishment of the Watson Commission, which helped design the path towards independence in 1957, and the formation in 1949 of the Convention People's Party by Kwame Nkrumah, which thereafter became the principal organ for the prosecution of the nationalist agenda. Kwame Nkrumah led the nationalist movement with panache and verve, and on 6 March 1957 took us to our promised land of independence, of freedom and justice, for which the Ghanaian people will always be grateful to him. Hence his memorialization on a special day, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Day, the only Ghanaian to be so honored. Undoubtedly, fellow Ghanaians, that day, 4th August, is clearly the most appropriate day to signify our recognition and appreciation of the collective efforts of our forebears towards the founding of a free, independent Ghana. We should continue to celebrate this day accordingly. Today, 76 years later, and 66 years after independence, our nation is considered a beacon of democracy and stability in Africa, where the rule of law, respect for individual liberties and human rights, and the principles of democratic accountability are part and parcel of our governance structure. These are the very things for which our forebears fought. The battle our generation must fight and win is that of rapid economic development. We must set Ghana to rights and get our country to where it should be. The challenge before us remains to build a modern economy and thereby generate a prosperous, progressive, and dignified life for the mass of our people. Hard work, enterprise, creativity, discipline, and a consistent and effective fight against corruption in public life will bring the transformation we seek. I am confident that with a united will, we can achieve this in our lifetime. I wish all Ghanaians a happy Founders Day, and may God bless us all in our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong.
Welcome back. So that was the president's address for Founders Day. A lot of things to think about. I want to throw it to our panelists today. It's Founders Day. We've heard what the president said. We've had quite some history lessons, you know. 66 years after independence. How do you feel? Are we living the freedom agenda? What do you think?
Okay, I have lived, I think, just 3 decades out of the 66.
The 66,
It's been rough and it's been smooth at some point.
Rough and smooth.
I can only commend our leaders for how far they've brought us with regards to gaining us the independence and pushing us this far. Aside that, what more can I say?
Say it. Talk. Because today is our day.
I feel there is more we can do as a country. Like comparing our growth to other countries, we even took off before them. Like the Malaysians and the rest. Some of them actually came here for some of the resources they now boast of. But we have it in abundance and we don't even know what to do. But we still use the same palm nuts they convert into crude for gobe as palm nut. And we've not been able to. we are more interested in the zomi than the crude. And I don't know, there should be innovative ways. I think if you're a creative here or somebody who is in technology and you really want to expand your knowledge or your territories with regards to this what you know, it is not possible in Ghana. Just imagine trying to be an astronaut in Ghana. Whose rockets?
Right. But we should be
able to at this point in time in our life. We should be able to do all these things. We don't even have to take years. There are things that people are doing within 6 months, 3 months, but it takes us forever, which I think is not really cool. But there are some positives that we can throw light on. But there is more we can do as a country.
Okay, Michi, what about you? What are your thoughts?
I definitely agree. What I noticed was the president's father was one of the founders, so that would be a good feeling on the side. Yes, we definitely can do better in terms of development in many sectors, areas. So yeah, we have a long way to go.
Give us one.
I mean, look at our roads, but the money is being directed to other things that I would say are not that necessary.
Look at that. That's not juice.
Yeah, so this is actually water from our lakes. This is it
I
too,
believe
right?
several projects that are being funded right now can be diverted to solving problems like this very one in front of us. Because this is quite alarming.
Crazy.
If this is water
Yep.
from a river that people drink,
Yep.
yes.
Fishes live in.
Are the fishes even alive at this
No.
point?
You know?
You know, it's heartbreaking, but yes, there are several positives about today's celebration in Ghana, but we can do more.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that. And what about you, Obi?
Yeah, I believe we can do more. I think we should be further than where we are now as a nation. Yeah, if it was a collective effort to move our nation forward, then we haven't done the best. Sincerely, I've had the opportunity to travel outside Ghana, to London, and then I was shocked by the things I was seeing. You know, effective systems enhance living. Maybe the money may not be good, you know, but when you are able to get to work, you know, without being tired, when you're able to access the bus system, the train system to work, you don't have to be in so much traffic before you get to work. It enhances your life, and though the system may be hard, you'd be okay, you know. But we seem to have like the old system still working when we have new stuff happening. Like we have a lot of people buying cars, and these cars are on the same roads that were back in the Kwame Nkrumah's days. You understand? So there's more demand on our roads
now
than before,
yes,
but there's
exactly.
no
But the roads haven't expanded,
there's no change in infrastructure, and so there are lots that we can do. And I feel like the government is in the right place to do that because they have the right funding. Like Ghana is like a beacon of hope for Africa.
Exactly.
Everybody is coming here. Look at the Beyond the Return, and like the nations are talking about us, podcasting. Like now when you mention Ghana, and so we shouldn't be left like this. That's what I'm saying.
And you know, Ghana was the first independent country, Black African country. So it's because of our independence that independence started. For me, I feel like the biggest problem that I think about is we were founded on freedom, right? But I feel like not even the government, Ghanaians ourselves, we are not protecting that freedom. So for instance, people religiously harassing you. For me, I always have a problem with church people come to my door to come and preach their religion to me, because freedom of religion, we are different Ghanaians. For you to impose another, this is you actually going against the Freedom Project. You know, so for me, my message is people died for our freedom. It's not you today that you come and make us suffer with this thing. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but we actually have someone on the line, a political historian, Prof. Samuel Edu Jemfi. We would like to speak to him about this very important day. Hello. Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello, my sister. Hope you are doing well.
Yes, we are doing very well. How about you?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yes. Your voice is a bit faint.
It's a bit faint. Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Happy Founders Day to you.
Thank you. I can't hear you at all. Your line is very faint.
It's very faint? Okay. Is it better now? I'm speaking louder. Is it better now? Can you hear me clearly now? Is it better?
I'm sorry.
You can?
I can't hear you.
All right. So we'll get back. Okay.
Okay.
We'll definitely get back to him. So today, Founders Day, we know is the Big Six, history lessons. Do you remember?
You know the funny thing?
We know Kwame Nkrumah Day
The
inside.
person cannot hear you, but when you say hello, the person can hear. How can the hello enter, but the rest of the things you say?
That is Ghana.
Hey!
Ghana, our networks will be stuck here, and then for some reason, once you tap on airplane mode and then untap it, your network comes back.
Come back, right?
Welcome to Ghana.
So what was it hiding?
So what was it hiding? Skirmishes. So I mean, yeah, today Founders Day is a Big Six. Kwame Nkrumah, Akufo-Addo, Dr. Akufo-Addo.
Akufo-Addo is part of the founders.
Oh,
his father.
Yes,
Edward Akufo. That's Akufo-Addo's dad.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So it's not too far.
That's not too far
it's
from
not
us.
too far. Yes. Obechebi Lamte, William Operiata, all of that. And also, what about all the women too? I feel like who helped all of this. The Makula women were huge funders of the CPP, you know. So I feel like women's stories.
We hardly hear women's stories in this. I would like
the
woman who did the
flag.
That's
the only woman mentioned in the history.
So why do you think this is, though? Why do you think this is?
I think it's a long history of women fighting for. I mean, like, we haven't seen a lot of men rights activists. You understand? So we've come from a long line of, women being a bit like women. How do
Richie is looking at you like, say something.
No, it's a long history. It's been a fight for women being independent, emancipation for women. Yeah. You understand? Ideally, women were supposed to stay home, take care of the kids, All
right, so I think we actually have him back on now. We'll hold this thoughts. Sir, can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so happy Founders Day again. How are you doing?
Very well, my sister.
Awesome. So we wanted to, pick your thoughts. What should we know about this very important day, 4th of August, Founders Day?
I've been feeding on the conversation you're having with the powerful team in your studio. And I share a lot of their sentiments and thoughts. Before maybe I say anything to add to what you've said so far, permit me to refer to the work of my colleague, Dr. Marco Jampa, of Education, Winneba. I'm quoting, what he wrote, a piece he wrote some time ago. Quote, Nkrumah pulled the political rag from under the feet of the leadership of the United Nations Convention.
Please, sorry to interrupt. Can you please turn down the volume on your set so we can hear you better? We're getting feedback. Okay.
No, I don't have any set on.
You don't have?
Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So you were saying.
Okay. So I said that I want to share in the thoughts and sentiments of your great team in the studio. And I said that what I want to do first is to make reference to the work of my colleague, Amako Jampa, who lectures at the University of Education, Winneba. So I was quoting, and I said that Nkrumah pulled the political rag from under the feet of the leadership of the United Nations Convention and fired up the passion and enthusiasm of the country's young people, emphasis, in the fight for independence. From then on, he was viewed as the father of the independence movement, and after independence, the father of modern Ghana, quote, end of quote. Why do I choose to set off? Because on this note, because of the conversation you are having with your young people or your team in the studio. Fundamentally, the critical question is that the youth cannot be a missing link. They are part of Ghana's history. And for us to see the kind of radical change Ghana saw by the turn of 1949 at the formation of the CPP, that kind of rising chorus for change and emancipation did not come on the back of the aged whom we so revere. Because, in fact, the young men, the vision of the young men are found in the dreams of the old. So, you need a sweet interplay of both the black and the white keys to produce a melodious sound. In that respect, you needed the wisdom and the wit of the old or the elderly. However, this independence came on the back largely of the youthful population. And that is exactly what I want to emphasize as a result of the conversation we are having. But it also came on the back of the kind of leadership we saw within the period under review. It's quite critical and we cannot overlook. The question that begs for answer, or answers, like the questions that beg for answers, is what these young people are raising in your studio. Why have we come about this? Why are we at where we are? Why is that Ghana's, if you like, independence as a country is bereft of the color of development? It is bereft of fame because as a country, along the lines, we lost the track of leadership we lost the track of leadership. You pick same Ghanaian who would be largely considered average within this sphere, plant him into Europe or elsewhere in the UK or United States, suddenly he becomes a genius. Because within our space and sphere, the bottlenecks are daunting and overwhelming because leaders choose to steal instead of leading. Leaders choose to steal instead of leading. And the kind of leadership this country saw in the earlier period, this country seemed to be losing that kind of traction. But for me, it has a neo-colonial tendency because that is exactly what the Western countries anticipated and inspired themselves to do. That's what Nkrumah talked about, because neo-colonialism definitely is the last stage of imperialism. Why is it the case? It is the case because Nkrumah will be overthrown in 1966 under the orchestration of the West. Patrice Emerse Lumumba of Congo will be overthrown by the auspices of the West. Mohamed al-Gaddafi, benign dictator as he may be, will be overthrown by the West. And so that when you look at dictators and you want to talk about dictators, then Tony Blair is a dictator himself, George Bush is a dictator. But you see, when we meet around the tables as intellectuals and as media, we are afraid because we rather would want leaders who would, excuse me for a better one of a right word, lick the boots of the Western powers because they are not conscious enough. And what is lacking and what has caused us for us to compare ourselves with the Singapore and the Malaysians and say that by the 1960s, the continent of Africa, and respectfully so, Ghana would be the peers of those countries that were emerging as independent countries within the Asian countries, i.e., a lot, for example, China was still a developing state, and it is still a developing country today. But this GDP is soaring above. In fact, Goldman Sachs had predicted by 2025 it would have surpassed the United States of America in many respects and all that. In the 1960s, if you look at countries in Asia, right, Singapore, Malaysia, and elsewhere, they were all newly emerging independent countries or states in that regard. And so, when you look at our narrative and our story today, and you compare us, right, with the countries in Asia, what is left of us is that we missed on the Lim Kuan Yews, we missed on the kind of leaders who, what China would have, right, to push for, the Chinese revolution, economic revolution, and to push for China's own economic emancipation. In fact, Great Britain left Hong Kong only in the 1990s, if you care to know. So it is important for us to appreciate the fact that the critical question we need to answer is not just for the sake of it. It is for us to ask the question, where are our conscious political leaders who are going to give us the economic emancipation? We do not need only grammarians and orators. We do not need those who will, be tied to the apron strings of the Western countries.
Agreed.
And also take away from us our resources and share with the Western countries. Give you an example comparatively. Abacha, a military dictator, ruled Nigeria for a very long time. And when he stole from Nigeria, he took it to the Western Bank, the Bretton Woods institution, who have been giving us loans. He took it to one of the countries, right, which is supposed to be one of the peaceful countries in the world. The question we ask ourselves is that when Abacha was stealing the wealth of Nigeria, the money of Nigeria, and was taking it to the Swiss banks and elsewhere, didn't the Western countries and the Europeans and the white men, did they not see? Did they not hit the account? Why didn't they immediately return it back to the country?
Raise the alarm,
or
yes.
better still, they are guilty parties of the crimes in our continent. And they have fuel state. And they continue to do so because they do not want African leaders who are conscious and who will fight for the emancipation of their people and economic emancipation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I think you've really, with your impassioned speech, you've definitely raised the fires in our bellies on today. You know, we are definitely not continuing passing on the baton very well from what was raised, and we definitely hear everything you've shared today. We ourselves are going to do better. We ourselves are going to hold our leaders better. Thank you so much for your thoughts today, and happy Founders Day again. So we heard from him. It was a very impassioned speech. But before we move on from this topic, I think that there's something I should highlight, because all of you sitting here are artists. And Kwame Nkrumah loved artists.
He did.
He really did center art in the role of Ghana's development. So I wanted to ask all of you, you know, what your thoughts are on the role of arts, and how and why in each of your fields, why attention needs to be put there to develop Ghana. If anyone wants to start.
Okay, so thank you for the question.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I feel like a politician now. Most countries, like me, I've never been to US before, but I've seen them win a lot of wars through most of the movies they show us. I've never been to Nigeria before, but I know of a war. I've been to Nigeria, but before I went to Nigeria, I knew of Warri. That's those stand-up comedians always coming here and telling us about how Warri is. People have used creative art to propagate their culture, change the narrative. Now we have indie series, telenovelas on ours, and now we have our people actually dressing. I've seen people actually name their kids after characters in, and we go even the extent of discussing some of the things that happen as if it's in real life. We go to the market to take opinions of market women on what Pragya did, and you see somebody so angry. And I think we've not looked at arts and the impact we can use art for. I think we are using it the wrong way. Recently, we realized that even shows that we do, the creative art that doesn't even get support from the government. The avenues to actually like expand your group or your territories with your craft, it's not even there. We realize that complimentary tickets that you even give to people to come and experience what you have to give to them, we are being taxed.
Wow.
Yeah.
We are being taxed. Like we are being taxed on it. A show that you do literally no sponsor, nothing. You fund it yourself. They still extract the little that you are making out of what you are doing.
Do you get anything back?
You don't get anything. It's just the fun that people will give you. The fans people will give you in town that you did try. Ghana, we are very good to say
government gives you
try.
Yeah,
government they know they try, but the fans they tell we say we did try.
I like that.
So that's what I think we should. They should look at creative art, just like any other sector. The agri sector, the medical sector, and they should look at the creative art critically. And I think creative arts, we shouldn't fuse politics into creative art. Politicians they thrive on division. The moment creative art now start doing I belong to MPP, I belong to NDC, that division is what they thrive on. Now if they are doing something for the collective benefit of us, the other party, if it's MPP in party, the NDC people in the creative art will say, oh, this will not benefit us. They will sweep it under the carpet. Then the MPP too will come in power and the same thing will happen. And it goes a long way to affect us. But we don't see it because just the chosen few are close to people in power and they benefit from it. I think we should look at creative art because I don't see Greek people actually bringing NDC, MPP into their sector. If they need something, if Ghana medical doctors want to go on a demonstration, there are MPP people there, the NDC people there, they come together and fight for what they is due them. But with us, the moment challenges of creative art pop up, you see our own people like division. Oh, the government is doing something. We all know they are not doing things that enhances our growth. But we are just here and we play about it. And I think we focus on trivialities. This show we are doing, it is for the benefit of this country and the creative. But go and check online the number of people watching. But gossip shows, things that will not. We can sit in this country and focus. Use one man to discuss somebody aborting a baby. How does that help? How build auditoriums? How does that beat down tax? How does that grow us as a people? How does that export OB to UK or this thing to tell the rest of the world that we are also funny? There are a lot of stories in Africa we need to share to the world. We are not doing that. Then we come back. So when the government sees us, they realize we are not serious. We are not serious. We sit on from sometimes late in the night discussing gossips. which we have pertinent issues that we need to discuss as an industry, but we focus so much on trivialities, and that is what these politicians they want, because they will just corner a few people and say just take this, and go and talk anyhow and buy a few people to follow. And
Charlie, you've talked, and I hear you 100%. I can feel it on your heart.
He's spoken everybody's mind.
Mickey, you're an actor. Film. What is Ghana film like? I mean, the industry. People are talking that we are not seeing it as lively as it used to be. You know, what is happening?
One, I can say the story is not lucrative. One, the stories don't have any weight most of the time. We have history like that of Yaa Asantewaa, and we barely have a story or a movie that depicts that. There are people that travel from the US. I don't know if it's projects they're embarking on, project work or what. You go to the Cape Coast Castle, you go to sites, historical sites, and you meet them researching. But you barely see the Ghanaian there researching as well to create content that would sell Ghana to the world. I would say that most of the stories are quite basic. There's a lot we can do with telling our stories. Yes. Production. We keep blaming the government, but what are we doing ourselves? It's like we're sitting there and waiting to be spoon-fed with everything, and we need cinemas and we need this. What are we doing together to ensure that these things are provided for us? Like he said, there's a few in-house celebs or personalities who are taking advantage or who have the advantage to earn much more than the others out there. And those are the ones that we expect to take the message across, to tell them, oh, my people or this sector are crying, we need this. It's not like the funds are not available. They are available to do other things. And show business can be a very great contribution to the economy. So we would love that at least. Just like the founder of the ex-president who gave us independence was taking show business serious or entertainment in Ghana serious. We plead that other governments, when in power, will do same. Yes, because we could contribute a lot. Trust me. It's a big sector. If we have a proper focus and proper structure in place, it would go far.
Thank you for that. I mean, and earlier, Obi, you mentioned the Beyond the Return. And I feel like Beyond the Return really is on the back of the artists. It's on the back of the entertainment industry. Comedy. I hear Dave Chappelle actually came to Ghana during the time,
which we didn't get to meet him.
I was just about saying that. Like it's you see, for us in the comedy industry, it's a little bit of a struggle because for the ones I came to meet, our pioneers, the David Oscars, Romanus, the James Browns, their course was to be funny and also to get Ghanaians to accept Ghanaian comedians. And so they had two very daunting tasks to do. And so though they were doing their comedy, Ghanaians were not really, because the industry was quite saturated with the Nigerian kind of, so before Ghanaians could shift to understand that we have funny ones, and so they did that, and then it got to our turn. You understand? So we are now now Ghanaians have accepted us. Yes, it's patronage, like they come to our shows and all that. What is lacking for us right now is an intentional approach to help the industry. You understand? Because when Dave Chappelle came to Ghana, we stayed awake to try get tickets on the website
but for you guys it should be a given.
That is the problem.
For some of you understand?
Yes.
And so we stayed awake. We didn't get the tickets. We went to join the queue at University of Ghana. We didn't have tickets, but we were there. And then by some minutes we were able to enter. We found a way to ask him a question from the audience, and that was it. We never got to shake him. We never got to learn from him.
Just him.
And it's not just Dave Chappelle that has been here. Steve Harvey has been here. And so I feel like when Steve Harvey comes, comedians should meet him. It's not just politicians or
it should be people in his industry.
People in that industry, so that we learn and then we grow. You understand? Spike Lee was here.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And he said he didn't get to meet any film.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate how we are taking all these
Right?
opportunities we are getting for
Yeah,
granted
yeah.
as a country.
Yeah.
Because this Beyond the Return and all this are bringing a lot of talents who would rather only see on TV to us. And we are not benefiting from it. There should be an intentional approach by the people who know, who have the links, who have the connects, the people who are in power, to help us get in touch with these people. Let me give you an example of what happened. I was booked for a show in Zambia, and the show was sponsored by Round Air. So, but the show wasn't in Rwanda. But for Round Air to come aboard as a full sponsor, they told the organizer that he needed to add a comedian from Rwanda.
Wow.
You understand?
That was the condition.
Yeah, that was the condition. The guy had to add him. This comedian we are talking about was probably sitting somewhere playing a game, but the government had it was there for him. And that's how we should approach all this. There are a lot of opportunities that come and go in Ghana, and nobody will benefit from it. You understand? And if we don't do that, look, I watched Burna Boy's performance on Apple Music, the Apple TV, and I was blown away. This African, this Nigerian. Understand? For some reason, Nigerian musicians are so trying very hard to change that mentality people have about them, or about their email scams and all. Like now, when you mention Nigeria, it's not only about the stuff that people used to think about them. Now it's about their music, the movies, the movies getting better and all. And I feel we can get there. We can get there with proper education. For us, like me, when I got into the comedy industry, I was just by myself. You understand? And that's happening in every industry here. Major stakeholders, the how do you call them? Gatekeepers.
Yes.
Don't want to share ideas with the young ones.
Just gatekeeping
It's
all
such a
industries.
problem.
Who made them gatekeepers?
Right?
Yeah, and so when you come into the industry, you start fumbling and making mistakes, which you shouldn't make if you had the right direction. For example, like I almost quit comedy in 2016 when I bombed on 1022 Laughs because I went there with new jokes, and you shouldn't do that as a comedian. You should go to bigger stages with tried and tested jokes. I didn't know about this. You understand? If I had a direction. So one thing we are lacking in our creative industry is education. We don't have that. Anybody comes, just starts a music, just a comedian starts and thinks it will work out. No, you need direction. You need somebody who has been there to show you that this is what you do, so you don't land yourself in trouble. And that's one thing we are lacking. Apart from funding as well.
Can I
Yes.
I think the issues of creative arts, it starts from our educational system. You know, creative arts is looked at as, if you're not too good in school,
then you
have to veer towards creative arts. So those who were in school, they saw the visual artists, the jihad, those people are not really like smart. And those who were doing the science, and those doing the science and the business, and how they look at us way back in school, when they get into high positions that can influence certain things that will trickle down to our level, they still see us as that visual art guy who come on entertainment and still be dancing and doesn't know what to do with his life.
A politician once said the entertainers don't need to be in parliament. Like, what are you
Imagine.
Wow.
But that is our fault in a way.
I think so.
Yes.
And
We should let them know
exactly
what to do.
What is being broadcast on social media is a little too vain most of the time, and they are watching. They're seeing that these young people are not focused, they're not serious. You know, so let's do other things.
We don't respect ourselves. Like a certain a celebrity, maybe you hold in high esteem. Your kids are looking at, pick a phone and come on and use unprintable words and to another celebrity that kids are supposed to look up to. And if a politician is looking at you people, how you are going at each other?
No, but Lexi, that doesn't mean don't help.
No, doctors don't do that.
This is why we are where we are.
It is media. Do doctors do that? They do, because the Kolebu doctors come on live to attack. No. Gee, they don't do that. We should respect ourselves. We are professionals. There are certain things it should stay in, and I think there are some conversations that we're not supposed to even talk about it on radio. It is not for mass consumption. It is within us. We should discuss it within us and industry before it comes out.
Conversation should be tailored.
But issues that are supposed to be discussed indoors, we bring it on radio. Now we are open. nobody sees the value we add to any growth in the system.
Yeah. Charlie, you've talked, you've shared things, and I just want us to do one of our headlines before we go into other stuff, because I feel like this ties into what all of you have spoken about. We spoke about how earlier we were looking at developments, but monies are being channeled into other things. So one of our headlines today: Parliament orders investigation into the controversial National Cathedral project. And I'm going to leave it to Kafui to give us a snippet of what that story is. This National Cathedral.
Scandalous.
Where we should be finding Michi's films or finding
No.
Okay, so my people, let's see. So Parliament orders investigation into controversial National Cathedral project. Lawmakers have directed the formation of an ad hoc committee to launch an investigation into the National Cathedral project and all related matters.
What's an
Ad hoc. I better Google them. The aim is to propose suitable recommendations for the consideration of the House. So this inquiry was inspired by a private member's motion filed by 6 minority members, including Mr. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, who is the MP for North Tong. The motion seeks to probe the stalled National Cathedral project despite an investment of about $58 million into the facility. Multiplied by 11, you get how much we're talking about in terms of Ghana cedis. It sounds bigger in cedis, and it should be. That's our money. The National Cathedral project has faced challenges with work ground to a halt a year ago. So, although work is not happening, costs are going up. So liabilities and interests, because there is a loan involved. So the second deputy speaker adopted a motion for further action. And according to Esiama, who is the second deputy speaker, Honorable Esiama, National Cathedral project stands as the most expensive in Ghana's history, with costs escalating from $100 million to a staggering $400 million. Please check Rwanda converter. You see the rates today. It's like 11 times 4 is 44.
Times 4, yeah.
So 4,400 million cedis, 4.4 billion. That's what it is in cedis. Despite an expenditure of around 58 million on the project, there remains uncertainty about the actual progress. Someone described it as the most expensive hole in the world. Yeah, because judges' houses were cleared out. Yeah. To create the space. Yeah, so that's the big story there.
Wow. I mean, what do you think, as you've heard from him?
Michi is dying to jump in.
A quick question: How much did it cost to build Solomon? How much did it cost Solomon to build
the temple?
The temple for God.
Brother, refer to the Old Testament.
Please.
Everything is there.
Please. Wow.
I'll find out for you.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I think as a country, we major on the minors and minor on the majors.
That's the point.
Yes.
The things we have so much interest in, even the Jerusalem temple, when Christ died, they said that the garments split into two so people can have direct access. Yeah. Even God in his own infinite wisdom is destroying his own temple just so he can live within us. And we are now building more. In the Western world, I learned they are converting more temples into libraries, factories, and we are now rather building more for God. What is the point?
At this cost.
What is the point? If you listen to the kind of figures they mention here, and they tell you that there are no beds in Kolebu.
Hey, the women are giving birth on the floor.
And they tell you that Accra, this beautiful city, it's only cool and nice to be in Accra when it's summertime. But once sachet water falls, there is flood. And we have town and planning committees. This ad hoc. If they tell you how much it will cost them to even sit and discuss per diem, discuss already the debts that is there. We've not cleared it. They are going to set another committee, which will take like months. And they've tell you the cost that they will incur for that sitting. It will shock you. It's like we are not serious.
Okay, breaking news. I just checked how much the cost of Solomon's temple in today's terms. Well, actually, it's in 2021 dollars. It would have cost $4 billion.
$4 billion.
How much is the foundation
of Solomon's temple? I don't know.
Wow.
But Michi wanted to say something.
Michi, what do you want to say? What do you want to say? Drop it.
Misplaced priorities.
Misplaced priorities.
52 million. Where's my phone? Can I show you my road?
You want to see
It has
road?
been like that for the last 4 or 5 years that I've lived there. It's horrible. if that road was good, it should have taken me 5 minutes to get to the main street. It takes me 20 to 30 minutes.
Where do you stay, Teman?
Each leg on hills.
It's legal.
My neighbors know. And most of your celebs and, let me say, big men live in the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
And they're passing because their cars don't actually, feel the bumps. And then we, the lower class, you understand, like, there's so many other things to focus on and develop that will benefit everybody in this country, including the lawmakers. So what is this? We dug a hole for 52 million. Wow.
Crazy. Crazy.
Wow. I have no words.
I'll take my final thoughts from you.
I think, there's this, I can't adage, I may miss it, like, Udidi Mia, not, like, at all. Because, see, the hungry know what they want. Yeah. You understand? The ones who are satisfied, say, like, maybe the Westerners are like, okay, now we've done a lot, let's go to space. You understand?
Right?
Yeah.
They're talking about UFOs.
Yeah, our people, when they're
okay,
are like, okay, let's build a cathedral to thank God for
what?
Well, we're not okay.
For where we are.
What are we talking about for?
We need to go and explore them out.
Yes.
Find out if there are aliens, if there's other life there. That's what I want to do. Not build
even
cathedral.
reporting this stuff, I feel like when it's in dollars, we should have, and I've said this,
Yeah, put it in CDs,
we shouldn't write like $58M. It doesn't make you feel the real impact. Like write it $58, comma 000, comma 000. Put an exclamation mark there for us to feel it. Because it's a lot of money. 400 million Ghana cedis. Like, hey,
crazy.
I went for a show at Abokobi Teman yesterday, and the road is bad. It's bad. Like you have to choose which pothole to fall in. It was crazy, and I was like, and you see big cars walking on this road. Yeah, a lot of big cars.
They probably have a police escort on that.
And so because they do not suffer this, they do not feel what we go through. But there's an uprising happening. There's an awakening happening. Like the professor was talking about. The youth are coming to understand that
I don't think so.
I'm telling you, maybe it is not enough.
So.
Maybe it's not a lot.
Maybe he's calling for
I'm
it.
telling you,
aggressive.
I am part of them. I am part of them. I'm making a
No.
revolution in the comedy industry, and
Okay,
it takes
wow.
it takes a person to start. You understand? And so for my sector, what I can do, I'm doing it. Though the systems we have tried to set would be collapsing without necessary funding from the right investors. But we are doing our best. It behoves on the government to push us and upskill us to a better point. I'm telling you, man. Our
as long
content
as
is
you
so
all are
good.
here, I trust. I'm sorry I have to cut us. This is very, very interesting. But we have a surprise video that we want to show. So let's take it. When we come back is more with our panelists. This is Headlines on the GTV Breakfast Show.
With the bad girl settings. You the hustle in every way, hustle every day. Make me paper, baby way. Life I will never be the same. Them can't keep the pace, cause I miss you around the place. I'm going higher, just space. You don't wanna run my race. You the hustle, 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 hustle. You the hustle. Hustle, 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 we dey hustle. You see, say boys they hustle. Tell my boys they hustle. E-leg boys they hustle. Alajo boys they hustle. Lima boys they hustle. Ashaman boys they pick up. So why you know?
I was Hustle Michi Chale telling us the stories. With I'm a piano vibes, right?
I call him Michi Piano.
Michi Piano, I love it, 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 Michi Piano. So I mean, tell us a little bit more about this track, this cooking, what is the return is for you, all of that.
Okay, so this is the return. This is a reintroduction to the music world. I've done a couple, but it looks like you guys thought I was joking.
Yeah, it felt a little
like I was just playing around, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm back and I'm
Right.
showing that I'm serious about it. Because you know the talent is there, so why keep it? Why hoard it?
Yes.
I don't want to go old and ask myself questions like I had a talent and I used it for being stupid. Yes. No.
But it's still nice with you.
Oh no, not for the talent.
Still is good though.
So you know the economic situation.
Yes.
Everybody is hustling.
Yes.
You know, so this song is to acknowledge the legitimate hustlers. Motivate them, you know, while working, we're jamming, you know.
Yes. Actually, I heard that, and for me, as I'm hustling, if I'm listening to this, it's like, yo, I can still do this. Let me keep going. You know, legitimate hustle.
Keep going.
Yeah. So, I mean, we are about to wrap up. I'm going to take my last thoughts. Founders Day has been I feel like it's been so great having artists on this table today for this conversation. You know, we are always sidelined, but today you are the ones talking about Founders Day. So, Lex, I'm going to come to you last. I'll start with you, Obi, and then we'll continue Michi, and then we'll come to you, Lexi.
Yeah. So
final thoughts on Founders Day, a message to anyone watching right now, you know, with the revolution. Yes, the revolution will not be televised.
Yeah. So happy Father's Day to everybody watching this. Yeah, as Ghana is a beautiful country.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll travel outside and always want to come back to Ghana. Because maybe the cold though.
It's too cold.
Yeah, it's too cold.
We like our weather.
It's a beautiful country, and I believe with all our efforts put together and with the right motivation and investment, we would get where we are supposed to be. Less corruption and more good works. That's all we are looking out for. We cannot say we can live without all of this happening, but the positives should outweigh the negatives. Yeah, when it comes to national development. And so whoever has promised us auditoriums should fulfill their promises. Because if you had an urgent need to fulfill your promise to God to build a cathedral for Him, I think promise to God and promise to man also is to promise to God. Yes. So if you've promised us auditoriums all over the country, fulfill that promise. That's all we're asking.
Oh, thank you very much. Michi, what about you?
Happy Founders Day to you and everyone watching. All I can say is the youth need to stand up. Let's showcase a more serious and focused attitude so our leaders can also listen to us when we speak. May the founders' efforts not go in vain.
Thank you for that. And Lexi, what about you?
All right, so happy Founders Day. Happy Founders Day to all of us. To our chiefs, I think they can do a better job. The same Adan River that we all go there, they have resort there. There is one at Weja. And when you go there, they are pouring all this aboboya you see tricycle. They went down the refuse into the Densu. So that they can cast sand on it and have an extension of the land and sell it to people when it rains. They open the dam, it floods. So actually, when people come there, they tell you that when they open it floods the homes of people. Those who buy the lands don't know. So the chiefs sell the lands to these people with rubbish beneath it. So and you can control water finds its way. And it washes away all these properties away. I think instead of selling those, why don't you sell it to raise people who can develop it in such a way that even when you open the dam, it is a sight to watch. Than sell it to people who don't have any fair idea of how to like develop the land, and not to our religious leaders. I mean the pastors. If somebody is in your church and you know he's a policeman, but when you're doing appeal for fund, he's able to raise 10K, 5K. You should be able to, if Ananias and Sapphira got questioned how they couldn't even stay sincere with you should be able to question the policeman. That's the extra fund.
There's no way that will happen.
I know you make 2.5 as a monthly salary, but when we do harvest, you are able to bring us 10K, 5K. Until if the corruption favors you, pastor, you don't talk about it. I don't know at what point did our pastors now predicting who is supposed to be. I don't think any pastor predicted Kwame Nkrumah's presidency.
Yes.
So at what point did we now the prophecy, if it's for Mobutu Benpa, for
Fire,
NPP.
fire.
If it is for Beduko, it's for NDC. So the same God has different prophecies for different
one God.
and they are using religion as a tool to control the masses.
Ah, my God.
And
Preach.
and we've allowed it.
Preach.
And we have allowed it.
Forces.
Even this cathedral thing we are
Yes.
talking about, we
Forcing
are complaining
someone's
about
morality,
Kolebu
exactly.
lacking beds, and you still have Christians.
Facts.
People
These same
defending
Christians
it.
will come out and say, we don't have beds, we don't have beds, but
Facts.
still defend cathedral. Do you know how much they spent on this place?
Facts.
I don't know whether they're going to use for
Facts.
mass barrier. I don't know. Issues of national interest, they shouldn't use politicians. I'm
Facts.
telling you, and the GTV should also adapt it. If it is about finance, bring finance experts.
Yes,
Don't bring
yes.
MPP, so that it will be like who was more corrupt in his era than.
Oh, but
Because
GTV
when
doesn't do that.
that's what they do. It's like in your era, I did this, and you to your era, you were doing this. So my time, the corruption was quite lower than yours. That is not what we want. We voted for it to be better than the previous.
Exactly.
But now it's like a competition of who was
We
more
are still
corrupt
waiting
than
for who come and mess us up.
That is not what we voted
They
you for.
did this,
yeah, I
that,
did
yeah,
this,
nice.
and I did that. And social media.
Yes.
Eish.
Preach.
If other countries are controlling, so then they feed the youth what they want them to see. This guy, there was this thread comes, it turns out to Ghana, shim. As to what the impact of thread will be to the youth, we don't know. We allow it. Facebook will come, we allow. We are not creating our own apps to curb the knowledge base of our people. We are just allowing anything, any chaff just comes in, and we allow it into even our celebrities in this country. We should control them because they have huge impact on the youth. They have huge impact. If you look at the numbers these people have, it will shock you. And the things they spew to these young folks, you ask yourself, is this the future leaders we are building? Because my time I saw Mame Dokuno, I saw David Donto, I didn't see them.
Good role model.
But like good role models. Now we don't have any role model. Your role model is doing lipo. Your role model is doing this.
Yeah, people are free to do that.
You can do lipo, but that is not the
Don't
focus.
preach it.
Do your if you
Yeah.
go and fix your teeth. That is not to influence any you to go and fix his teeth.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
you
you're
fixing
just
yourself.
doing it.
But if you come and you go and do your button, you want to show me your buttons and this, you are telling our younger, don't be
What's
confident.
the problem? Read on agenda, baby.
Let's set our priorities right as a country. That is the only way we can.
So you say after we
I
have
hear
set our
that, I hear
priorities,
that.
then
Okay,
you
so
focus
on
on
that-
The white people, they set all their priorities right before they now allow certain
All right.
things.
Thank you very much. This has been an invigorating conversation. So please, I've not seen any of you chew. Let me see you chew before. Let the camera see you chew before we go off. Let the camera see you chew. And as we are chewing, let me remind you that Founders Day, it was a freedom agenda. We should all jealously guard our freedom. You know, where your freedom starts is where someone else's ends. So jealously guard yours, protect ours, and let's be each other's keeper. Love each other's, love our neighbors as ourselves. If you love your neighbor as yourself, you're not going to just steal money for yourself. You know, you're going to use the money to develop your neighborhood for everybody. So on this note, my panelists, my artists, we are grateful to you for what you do for Ghana. Keep doing what you do. Happy Founders Day to you. And thank you to all our listeners. Thelma, Charlie, today I'm in your hot seat. Now I get why you keep cutting us when we talk. Next, coming up, we have Out and About on the Big Six. And so we're going to be checking that out right now. Thank you for having us. Thank you for being with us here on Headlines. See you in the next segment.